my 2012 Honda CBR1000rr versus my 2017 Aprilia Tuono V4 1100 factory. Which one is better?
Let's go for a ride. You are watching CycleCruza's all-in-one motorcycle channel. Subscribe today. Continually video suggestions, but you may find what you're looking for by visiting my website at CycleCruza.com and click on the menu tab My Videos. And those are a bunch of playlists with all of my videos categorized in them to make it easier for you to navigate through.
Now I know first off, there's going to be some people out there going to say, CycleCruza, you can't compare this Street Fighter to a Superbike. I mean, come on, man. You just can't, you can't do it, man. It's not in the same class. And then some of you say, oh, it's CycleCruza, why'd you get that bike? It's too much like your CBR. Some of you guys need to make up your mind, man. But I'll tell you guys, this bike is very different than my CBR in a lot of ways, man. You know, one thing that's different is, you know, the low beams are both lights on this bike compared to just one light on the CBR. Now, the high beam on this bike, you switch it there and it's the center. This bike looks a lot more beautiful in person than it does in the videos. The videos don't do it justice, man. This thing has really sick lines. Look at that. Look at the rear here, baby. One thing I really love about my CBR1000rr is I love the ability to be able to change the complete look of the bike anytime I want to, and pretty cheaply. I put aftermarket, Chinese aftermarket fairings on my bike. I put a bunch of different sets over the years. And it completely, you could just, it's like changing clothes on a bike. I like that. So if you ever drop the bike or anything, it's real easy, quick fix. You just put on some new fairings. As with this bike, you want to keep this bike upright, man. Because you don't want to be putting those scratches up on, you know, the tank or anything, because you're going to have to pay probably $3,000 like the Ducati XDiavel to put a new tank. Because, you know, Italians, they charge a lot of money for their parts, man. The Japanese parts are cheap and easy to come by. Now, look, let's get on the bike and let's talk about it here. Oh, baby, look. Oh, 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 my goodness. And I got it on track mode with basically the rider aids turned down, very low, down to 1. And that front wheel just came up. Oh, my goodness, it feels good. It sounds good. The V4 is just, oh my goodness. Now I see why you guys always praise the V4, because it feels good, it sounds good. It's just something about it just absolutely amazing, man. Oh, I don't know why they don't put the V4 on other bikes. Honda, if you're listening, put the V4 on the CBR1000rr and quit playing, man. This is where it's at. I'll tell you, the inline 4 is almost clinical smooth, man. It's like, that's why a lot of you guys say it doesn't really have, it lacks character. It's brilliant, it's fast, it's fun, it's beautiful, but it's not, it doesn't possess the character of the V4, man. It just doesn't. I didn't realize it until I actually rode this bike. It's but like I said, the inline 4 is still an awesome bike, man. But if I have a choice between a V4 and the inline 4, I'm going V4 every time, baby. Every time. I love it, man. And I tell you, the riding position on this bike compared to the CBR, this is like riding on a cruiser. It really is, man. But yet it's in a sporty position that when you hit the twisties, it feels good. Like you could take it to the track. It's sporty. But yet it's comfortable where I can ride it across the country, man. You know, the CBR, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm so used to riding a super bike in that crouch position that it doesn't bother me. I actually enjoy it too. But that's not something that I want to ride all the way across, you know, from the East Coast to the West Coast, you know, even though a lot of you guys have. But this is so much more comfortable, man, in this riding position, I'll tell you guys. And there is no wind blast with this at all. I know some people complain about some of the Street Fighters with the wind blast, wind fatigue and all. Now that they say the KTM Super Duke R has, you get wind fatigue with it. as far as the feel of the bike, you know, with the bike between your legs and turn-in feel, it doesn't feel that much different than the CBR, to be honest with you. It feels very familiar. And the turn-in feel is different, of course, because you're more in a you're in a race position with the CBR. But this bike turns in the corners on no problems, man. Like I said, you just counter steer, baby, and it turns where you want it to go. As far as the heat compared to the CBR, this one right now it's like 45 degrees, so it's cold right now, so I did feel a little heat though, a little bit, but it wasn't nothing to complain about at all. You know what I'm saying? The CBR, I don't feel any heat ever at all on that bike, even in the summertime, man. I don't know how they did that with that CBR, but it's so refined. I tell you, that is probably one of the most, the CBR1000rr is one of the most refined super bikes, and that's why a lot of people call it boring, because it's so highly refined in every way. Now, I haven't heard the fan come on this bike, so like the CBR, when the fan comes on, you don't even hear it. So it's very similar in that way as where the CBR1000rr had, man. That fan came on, you heard it, and you felt heat with the CBR1000rr too. But like I said, cold time, it's welcome. That's why another reason this bike is really awesome. And because we get a lot of cold days, obviously, out here in Ohio, so the little extra heat you get is very welcome. But I'll tell you, the brakes, the Nissan brakes that are on the CBR1000rr compared to these Brembo M50 brakes, you can't even compare them almost, man. The brakes on the CBR feel like Flintstones brakes compared to these brakes, man. Look here, look. Whoa, oh man, that thing's oh, the bite on that is absolutely amazing. I had the same brakes on the Ducati X Diablo S, and oh my god, it was awesome, man. And it's even more awesome on this bike because this bike is even lighter weight, 460 pounds compared to 545 pounds with the X Diablo. So brakes, engine feel much better than the CBR, more comfortable than the CBR. I like the lights, even though they're the old halogens over the CBR. The seat, I like the seat better. The seat on the CBR is fine, don't get me wrong. It's amazing, it's comfortable and very adequate, but I love the seat on this because it's comfortable, but yet it's racy enough that when you have feel when you're hitting the corners, it feels really good. I like it, man. The bike feels compact. What else can I say, man? This bike is amazing. I can't wait to put a fender eliminator kit, which I just got in the mail. I'll be doing a video install on that. And also I'll be putting a pipe on this bike. A pipe is a must. Just like the CBR, when I bought it brand new, the CBR was quiet like a scooter when I first got it, man. And I couldn't, the sound put me to sleep. I mean, the bike is fast, but it was so quiet. It was even more quiet than this. At least this, you can hear that V4 engine on it, and it sounds amazing. It still needs enhancement. We need to put an aftermarket pipe on this bike quick. But it's super expensive compared to the CBR. The CBR is like, you can put a $300-400 pipe on there and you're good, man. But I'll tell you, getting into neutral here is not that bad. You have to feather it like that. There you go. You feather it. You know what I'm saying? The CBR is easier to find neutral, but it's not that big of a deal. As far as the mirrors are great on this. I don't have any issue with the mirrors. It doesn't vibrate. One thing I like about the CBR is that they fold in, as where these, I guess you can fold them in, but you got to make some adjustment with it. As far as low wind power, oh baby, it's got more pull than the CBR, man. I'll tell you that. The mid-range on the CBR is amazing, and by the way, quarter-mile times are very comparable between this bike and the CBR. They both run about low 10s, you know. And modded, the CBR can actually run under 10 seconds. I don't know about this bike, but I'll tell you, this bike has the power where you run it, man. Woo! And the up and down quick shifter is so much better than the CBR shifts fine. Don't get me wrong, guys. The fueling is amazing on the CBR, but this bike, it's butter smooth up and down. Look at that. Don't have to touch. Don't have to blip the throttle. Don't have to use the clutch. Up and down. Look at that. Up, down, down, up. I can just shift anytime I want to. No blipping, no nothing, baby. Oh, look at that. Oh. And you hit, oh, look at that. And the turning feel is amazing, man. Woo! And I like those Pirelli Supercorsa tires, boy. They say they suck in the wet, which I haven't yet to experience, and I don't like riding in the rain anyhow. But I will probably be putting on a set of Pirelli Angel GTs on here. I love this Pirelli Angel GTs. They last forever. They feel good in the corners. And they're great in rain, everything. In my opinion, it's the best all-around street tire you can get, hands down, and it lasts a long time. And you can get like 8,000 miles out of a rear tire. As far as for street, this bike is probably better than the CBR. I'll be honest with you, man. It's performance-wise, though. It's like I said, they both run the same quarter-mile times. A lot of you guys call the CBR slow, which is a downright lie. Thing runs anytime you can run 10 seconds flat on a bike. That's not slow in anybody's book. It's just the bike is so butter smooth and highly refined that people call it boring, and they think it's slow, but it's actually not. But I don't know, this bike is the king of, as far as sport bikes in my garage, this is the king right now. I'm sorry, CBR, I'm sorry, but there's a new should I say queen, there's a new queen in the garage right now. And it's the Aprilia Tuono V4 1100 factory. Let's have a look at it one more time, baby. Look how pretty. Look how pretty. CBR is good looking too, but this bike, I'm sorry, it's just a little bit better looking. But anyways, guys, for those of you guys who want to get my gear, like this new neck brace I got, that's awesome. My helmets, gloves, boots, leather, jackets, cameras, all my stuff. I always include links in the description and comment section of my videos, or go to my website, CycleCruza.com, click on the menu tab, My Gear, and that's links to all my stuff.
Hit thumbs up, check out my playlist for new riders and popular videos. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and check out my other channel, Bug Out Moto, where I customize a van for my motorcycle so I can live in my van with my motorcycle and travel across the country anywhere. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bug Out Moto.